All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, welcome on in to NorCal Sports Network. Giants get a victory today to get to 80 on the season, 4-3 over the Rockies. Casey Schmitt with the big 3-run homer, and we'll break it all down for you. Giants get it done, and I win my bet. All right, took the over. We'll break it all down. Dallas will be here in about 5 to 8 minutes to join us. And but as you know, the show is sponsored by Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. 415-613-9483. Make sure you let Chapman Law Group know NorCal Sports Network sent you. Give them a call for any legal matters. All righty, guys. Let me find the band there. Okay. Giants get it done today, 4-3. College football, yes, was watching the Penn State game and the Alabama game. Wow, Penn State, Oregon thriller in overtime, double overtime. Oregon pulls it off in double OT with they score a touchdown in the second overtime and then have to go for the 2-point conversion. It gets picked off, and then on Penn State's first chance to try and tie it, Oregon picks it off, game over. So then of course, Alabama went into Georgia, mild upset. Drew Aller, he did kind of aim that throw. Yeah, he tried to make the perfect throw and just aim it over the top, and it got picked off by the linebacker. Great read there. But it's Giants baseball today, guys. Giants win it 4-3. They got to 80 games, which is what I was hoping for because I bet the over, which was 79.5. Hey, just as a note, just little note here. I got a note that came across the Guardians, Cleveland Indians, Guardians, whatever you want to call them. They had a 2.9% chance to make the postseason on September 1st. They clinched a playoff spot tonight. Tomorrow they win the division, or Detroit loses to Boston, they win the division. Either way, or they both lose, they get the division. Detroit wins the division if Cleveland loses and Detroit wins. Now, what's crazy about that division, guys, is they played each other 6 times like in the last 10 games or so, 10, 12 games, and they're going to square up in the playoffs. They're matched 3-6. The question is, are they playing in Cleveland or are they playing in Detroit? So that's going to matter. And I think that the Tigers got in now. I think I would rest Tariq Skubal tomorrow. There's no way I'm pitching Tariq Skubal because the difference is it's a 3-game series. You're on the road no matter where you go. Ideally, you want to win the division, but you pitch Skubal tomorrow. The playoffs start. I think the American League playoffs start on Tuesday. I know the National League does. I'm pretty sure everything starts Tuesday. So Skubal would not be available if you pitched him tomorrow at the earliest till game 3. Maybe that's the plan. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you want Skubal in game 3, decisive if you can win one of the first 2. We'll see. Hope Springs Eternal says he loves the Guardians. Giants should have hired their manager instead of Bob Melvin. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Yes, and this is the best time of the year. I'm not sure what the World Series are for Cleveland, but hey, Giants get it done today. Alabama did win. They were first downs 13-15. Yeah, on third down. 13-15 on third down, and Georgia was 1-8. 1 of 8 on third. Yeah, something like that. So this is the best time of the year, no doubt about it. But Giants get it done today. I got to pull up my little FanDuel account, guys, to show you something here. FanDuel. Log back in. Got Face ID. All right, there we go. All right. Let me see. Come on, we don't have to do this. Look at this. It's just doing. What is that? Open up. Open up. Golly. Don't know what's going on. I hate it when websites. Are you enjoying the whatever? Just give me the fine. I hate that when things don't open up properly. Redo it. Enable alert, skip for now. Okay, my bets. There it is, guys. Over 79.5. Look at that. Over 79.5. Big payday. Big payday. Wow. I didn't win my bet, my $5 bet to win 505 on the Giants. So we'll see where that goes. But Melvin said after the game he wouldn't be surprised if Verlander got a 2-year contract offer. Interesting. Yeah, Verlander pitched really well down the stretch. You thought Ryan Walker was going to blow it again for Ryan Walker. I mean, for Justin Verlander. Would have been about the fourth or fifth time this year that Walker blew an actual win for Verlander. Verlander gets his 4th win today. He probably should have had at least 8 on the year, but the bullpen let the team down. He might have been, maybe 9 wins. Maybe he's, instead of, what did he finish up, 4-11? Maybe Walker 15 decisions. Maybe Walker or Verlander's more like 8-7, 9-6. Bivens a legit closer candidate? I don't know. I'm not sure. He's as good as anything they got right now. He's definitely better than Walker. Walker's miserable. Absolutely miserable. Yeah, quite an improvement for Verlander's ERA, down from last year. It was over 5. I was like 5.5 last year. Yeah, I wonder too, man. Yeah, they're professionals, but you know how many people were saying it under their lips, right? Probably the half the team or more. Will Adames get his 30th home run tomorrow or his 180th strikeout? Well, the odds certainly favor him getting the 180th strikeout more so than the 30th home run. That might be a good bet right there. So Giants, they get it done with very little scoring. Their scoring, for the most part, all came in the 2nd inning on the Casey Schmitt 3-run homer. And then they got one in the 8th that was really critical because a 1-run lead would have been gone if they hadn't have scored in the 8th inning. You're talking Ryan Walker on the mound. You got to have like a minimum of a 3-run lead for a save. Ideally, you want to bring Walker in when you're up 5 runs or down 5 runs. That's Walker time. That's Walker time. But in the 8th, bottom of the 8th, Gilbert hitting for Encarnacion. And why? I understand Gilbert hitting for Encarnacion in the sense that he's going to go take his spot in right field. But why didn't Bryce Eldridge get an at-bat there You sit him all the time. This really irritates me. The Giants are out of it. It's a meaningless game, and you got Bryce Eldridge with an opportunity to face a lefty who he's done well at AAA with lefties. Why are you sitting him on the bench, Melvin? Just makes zero sense. I don't know if Buster is in on all these situations, or he's just said, Bob, you make the lineup. It's all up to you. And Buster's sitting back and letting Melvin maybe just see what he does. How does he handle things? And maybe he's evaluating Melvin to say, look, I gave you an opportunity. I brought Eldridge up for 13 games and you sat him like 4 times. You didn't even play him. I wanted him played, or was Buster in on it and just said, hey, we're not going to pitch. We're not going to put him up against lefties. I don't know. Makes zero sense to me, especially today. Meaningless games. Just play Bryce. Look, Wilmer will have his pinch hit moment. But, you would have used 2 guys. I get it. Eldridge would have come in, and then you would have had to have brought in Gilbert. But you have enough guys on the bench. Come on. So I didn't like that. Don says, I heard Bill Lasky. Oh, there I noticed. I didn't even notice Dallas in the green room. There he is. How long you been sitting there?
Oh, a couple minutes. Oh,
gosh. I didn't hear it pop up like you came in. You must have come in incognito. We welcome in Dallas.
Yeah, you're right. I think they should have pinch hit Eldridge. At least give him one at bat there.
Yeah, they could have still put Gilbert in, so you use 2 guys for 1. But it's what do you hurt? What's it hurting? Why? You got to run. Fortunately, in the bottom of the 8th, but you would have liked to have seen a big pop. I mean, Grill after Kinzer walked, Ramos struck out, and then Devers doubled to left after the dive by Doyle in center field. He missed it, got by him, and so that was the run. But
huge insurance run.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, with Ryan Walker, like I just said, I don't know if you heard it, but 5 runs is my take on Walker. You got a 5-run lead, or you're down 5. You can pitch Walker at any point after the 4th inning, 5th inning.
I mean, he's personally blown, I think, 3 of Verlander's games.
At least three. Yes.
At least 3. So if he did it a 4th time,
oh yeah.
I don't know what would have happened. He would have had to have gone berserk on him.
He might have had to face the firing squad. I mean, this was crazy. It's good thing Melvin actually learned his lesson with Walker and gets somebody else up pitching behind him.
I know.
I mean, wow.
As soon as he gave up that home run, then there was movement in the bullpen, and it's like, okay, good.
Yes.
Because you have to get through 3 hitters.
3 hitters, right. Oh boy. So at any rate, it is what it is, right? But guys, appreciate you being here. It's going to be a very quick show tonight. A lot of football was on tonight, and I don't know if there's. I know there's still late games going, but lot of fun with college football. Cal won a big game today over Boston College back in Boston, 27-24. Of course, we mentioned the Alabama beating Georgia, and then the big game that I thought was wonderful was Oregon Penn State that went double OT. So, yeah. Let's see the Ducks. I'd like to see the Ducks do it all, win it all. That would be kind of cool. But let's go through the game, Dallas. Let's pick our players of the game, and then maybe we'll talk about tomorrow a little bit and what to expect, and then we'll get out of here.
All right. Well, why don't you go first tonight?
I'm going to go first. Okay, I'm going to go first. All right. Well, I am going to go Ryan Walker will not be on the list, okay? I can just tell you that. So I am going to go the number one. They only got 4 hits today. I'm going to go with number 3. How about Spencer Bivens with the save? Spencer Bivens with the save, number 3, gets the 80th win, makes me some dough. Thank you, Spencer. Number 2, I am going to go with Justin Verlander. Pitched a heck of a game after a little bit of a rough start, first couple innings, the homers, but settled down, goes 6 innings. I was wondering if they were going to let him come out with one batter in the 7th and kind of get the out, hopefully, and then walk off to an ovation. I thought that's how – I know it was only a 1-run game, and so maybe he didn't want to risk losing it, but better him losing it than Walker, right? But it would have been a cool gesture, I think, for the crowd to recognize. If you want him back, it's a great way to, hey, give a great positive memory to San Francisco fans. Love me here. I mean, but I don't think the Giants organization thinks that way ahead. At least, I don't know. That would have been just one batter. He had the pitch count. He was only like at, I think, 88 pitches or something for the day. 92. So he had, look, go out there. In fact, how about if you do it, you don't want him to pitch, send him out there and then come out and pull him out without facing a batter. Give him a proper send-off if you really want the guy. Now, if they don't want him, fine. They don't want to have any reason. But if you want the guy, you actually go out and you try to get the crowd pumped up behind him. But we'll see. Anyway, he's my number 2 guy.
Want him back. I think, they're going to say, hey, the job's yours if you want it. Bill Lasky was talking after the game about, he seemed like he had a little insider information, like Verlander wants to go back to Houston.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, then if that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised. Why would you want to come back to San Francisco where you had a chance to win 9-10 games and you got 4?
Yeah,
because
it was a rough season.
Yeah. I mean, he needs like I think like 35 more wins to get to 300. He's
a long way away.
If he would have got 5-6 more wins, he's going to have to be 3 years to get there. He really wanted to get there within 2 years, but this year didn't work out. So, and my number 1 star, surprise, everybody, Casey Schmitt. 3-run homer, 12th of the year, straightaway center. Casey, in my opinion, he's earned himself to be an everyday. I mean, he's a 20 home run guy. If you play him the whole season, he's 20 homers. Just give him 600 plate appearances, he's going to get 20 homers. Problem is he had to learn a whole new position. Plus he had to learn first base this year. We'll see, but he may not be the everyday guy. If they go out and think they need a more athletic second baseman, they may just make him the super utility guy that can play every infield position.
They might do that. It just depends on who's available and what's on the market. But I think Schmitt had a good year. 238, I think, is a little low. I
thought he would hit closer to 250 plus.
Yeah, and maybe he would. With the full season, consistent at bats and stuff. They jerked him around a lot this year, even though they gave him second base. It took a while to get to that point. He was playing first base. He was playing, kind of spotty starts at certain points, and then. Even towards the end here, he doesn't play every day. They throw Koss in there. They throw, they keep, I don't know. He's not been getting as much playing time as you think he would.
Let me ask you this. This is a kind of an interesting thought. Now, Casey is a guy, let's say you made him a utility guy. And you said, you know what, Casey, we want you to be a middle inning reliever, 1 inning. And you could pitch him the days because you can't be an infield, you can't be a position player and pitch in the same game. They took that rule. They made that rule. So, but if he's not playing that day, and then you actually have one more spot for a position player, because Casey could, I mean, the guy was a closer at San Diego State and a very good one. If you made him a 1 inning pitcher, I'm not talking high leverage situation, guys. I'm not talking 9th inning, 8th inning. I'm talking, your starter's out and you need this guy to pitch an inning or two early in the game because you're not in the game. Mark says no money in that role, Dan. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a spot for him to take up one spot. He's your last reliever. I mean, your last reliever's not that great anyway. Use a guy like Casey, and then you have an extra. Then you only need to carry 12 relievers or 12 pitchers instead of 13. And then the days that he's not starting, I mean, what happens if you went out and were able to get a top flight second baseman and Casey was the backup, and then he just did what Koss did, but he was also a reliever?
That's thinking outside the box for sure.
What's the use of what's the use of the 13th bullpen guy that rarely comes in high leverage situations?
That's true, but has that been done before? Can you think of an instance where that's actually happened?
Where they
used an infielder as a pitcher regularly, like as a
or an
bullpen
outfielder
guy.
Well, Shohei was a DH pitcher with the Angels, but he didn't play the days. He obviously wasn't. They took the DH away when he pitched. When he was a starting pitcher, he hit for himself. But I'm just trying to think outside the box. I just think he threw 95 plus. He had really good stuff. He was one of the better closers in the country for San Diego State. Why couldn't he pitch an inning here and there and then he's your utility guy. So if you need him for utilities, obviously not available to pitch that day. But if he's not going to get into the game as a player, which most utility guys don't always get into, like the days Koss is not on the field, he's not playing. Why not make more use? I don't know.
All right. Well, tell Eric to tell Marty to run that up the flagpole and see if they'll get on board with that.
George Curry says it's a remedy to get him hurt. Well, not if he's in shape. He's used to pitching. That's all I'm saying. The Giants need, hopefully he's just their starting second baseman, unless, if there's not a huge upgrade, like an Xavier Edwards, for example, or a Ketel Marte, who Arizona may be looking to trade this offseason, then just make Casey your starting second baseman.
How come they don't pitch him in those blowout games? Christian Koss pitched 3 innings this year?
Probably because they're afraid he's going to go out there and do what George said, hurt himself because he overthrows. They don't want those guys overthrowing. They just want them lobbing it in there. But if he was like Shohei, if he trained to be a pitcher, a little different.
Yeah. Yep. So your players were, sorry, we got off on a tangent there. Schmitt was your number 1. Verlander number 2, and
Which reliever did I say was
Bivens.
3? Bivens, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So who do you got?
Then I will go with.
I took all 3 logical. You gave me the first shot. We probably should do this differently. We probably should go. I pick a third, you pick a third, and a second.
Sure.
I pick a second. Yeah, then because I kind of left you with not much.
So I'm going to go with Kisner. He had a good game, called a good game, walked, had a hit. He scored a run, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He scored on.
He scored that last run. That last run.
Right, the insurance run. So that was huge. We'll go with Lou's guy, Tristan Beck, came in, pitched, put a 0 on the board. That was good. And then I got to go. I got to double up on Bivens. I thought that was huge. He came in. Ryan Walker comes in, is just not gonna. You can see where the game is going. It's obvious. Like he either has it or he doesn't have it, and you can see he doesn't have it. And this game is going to be lost if they don't get him out of there. And then Bivens came in with 2 on, runner at third base, and 1 out, and he got through it, man. And that's clutch. He's been put in a lot of different roles this year. Just coming into various parts of the game. Sometimes he's a long man. Sometimes he comes in these situations, and he answers the bell. So and he's a guy that just appeared out of nowhere. He was a nobody, spent his whole career in the minor leagues, and now he's kind of carved out a notch for his place on this team 2 years in a row. He's been a pretty solid guy. So I'm a big fan of Bivens.
Yeah, he looked really good. You got to give him credit because he came through, and we'll take it. So looking around the rest of the let me hold on here. Let me get to the chat real quick. No more regular season after tomorrow. Yep. Put it to bed. But tomorrow will be, after tomorrow, baseball is going to get really fun. The playoffs are exciting. It's a shame we're not in it, but that's the way it is. But let's take a look around the major leagues, if we shall. The out-of-town scoreboard, as they say. Games, there's a few games still going on, and we'll get to those right now. Okay. In Anaheim, top of the 9th, Astros lead the Angels 5-1. Astros were eliminated today by the win of Detroit. They needed Detroit and Cleveland both to lose, and then both to go 0-2, but they're 1-0 with one more to play. So Astros have been eliminated. And that's in the top half of the 9th, 5-1. And in the 8th inning, up in Seattle, Dodgers-Mariners knotted at 3. Royals lead the A's up in Sacramento 3-0 in the top of the 7th. Finals today, the Yankees win 6-1. Cubs win 7-3. Cubs are hosting the Padres now. Blue Jays win. This is amazing. Tomorrow, both New York teams, Dallas, are going in to the final game of the season. The Mets are trying to win and hope Cincinnati loses. That's the only way they get in. They have to win. Cincinnati has to lose to Milwaukee. Milwaukee's playing a meaningless game. They have already clinched home field advantage with Philadelphia's loss. So, and the Yankees want to win the division. They have to win and Toronto lose. So pretty funny that both New York teams there. And there's a meaningless game. We can care less. Here's the Giants and Rockies we talked about. Red Sox. Here's a betting tip for everybody. Red Sox clinched last night. Whenever a team clinches, take the under for their scoring for the next day, because they either pull all their guys out or they're too hungover. If they've got to play, they're just not into it. I've seen so many times teams get shut out. Red Sox got to run. So there's that put Detroit in the playoffs. The Mets come through with a 5-0 win. Twins beat the Phillies. They're 95-66. And you can see, Pirates beat the Braves. Guardians beat the Rangers. They're tied with Detroit, but hold the tiebreaker with 1 game to go. See, here's the Brewers record, 96-65. And the Phillies record, which I showed you earlier, is 95, 1 game behind. But the Brewers hold the tiebreaker. So that's a meaningless game for the Brewers tomorrow. Doesn't matter. They've clinched the 1 seed. Padres win. They're just playing out the string. And that's your out-of-town scoreboard. So let me see what else we've got going here. Houston has put another run across, 6-1 in favor of Houston, for those of you who care, which is probably maybe one person out there. I don't think Webb starting has any impact on next season, but I'm cool with it.
It's just the type of guy that Logan Webb is.
Yeah.
First of all, he wants to finish out the innings leader, which I think he's got, and he wants to be the sole holder of the strikeout, total for the season.
Needs 1 strikeout and needs 4 innings to surpass Garrett Crochet.
Right, and he's going to want the win, so he'll pitch 5.
Yeah, he's going to go 5 tomorrow, and if his pitch count's really low and he's dealing, he might go more.
Right, and he's the opposite of Blake Snell, where he had nothing to play for, so he sits out. Those people are going to that ballpark tomorrow. It's going to be a full stadium, and people pay their money to go to the game, and play the game. You're getting paid.
This is why I
pitch.
This is why I think Logan Webb is overlooked as the Willie Mack Award winner. I just think at some point you have to not keep putting it off down the road. He might only be here 2 or 3 more seasons. Just give him the stinking award. If he ought to be locked into it next year, but they'll probably, who knows? They get some new guy that comes in. They'll like, hey, I don't know. What's the question Hope's asking you?
She says, do you think Melvin will be back next year?
Oh, this one. There it is.
The answer to that, and I don't have any insider information, but
I do.
He will not be back next year.
Okay. I have some insider information.
Oh, do you? So I have no insider information, but
right inside my lapel here. Let me pull it out.
The Giants were 2 games under 500 last year. They're going to finish 500 this year. They're paying $174 million for this roster this year. And, they opened up the checkbook. They signed Adames. They signed Chapman. They signed Devers. They traded for him. They're putting their chips on the table here, and they underperformed. The Giants just did not get it done this year, and there has to be accountability for that. And I think 2 years in a row, it's you gotta place the blame somewhere, and I think Melvin's got to go. You can't roll the same thing out next year and hope for a different result. You're just going to be wasting another $175 million, or however
maybe
much
it's
the payroll
$200
is.
million next year. Who knows?
Right.
Dallas, I 100% agree with you. Nothing personal against Bob, but when you go 1-15 in a 1-15 stretch at home, and then you finish the season, not counting these Rocky games, like what was it, like 2-10 or whatever they went the last. It all started that Saturday night in LA where they lost
Yeah.
the 2 to LA, went into Arizona, lost 2 more, 1-1, then came home. Then went to LA and lost the first 3. I mean, 3, 2, 5, 7 losses in 9 games.
And it's not Melvin's fault. There's decisions you disagree with and whatever, but it's just the overall operation of the team. It's not working, and you have to change something. The players, they're signed to contracts for years. You can't fire them. You can't fire the players. So you got to make some other change.
Yeah, exactly.
And the biggest change you can make is at the top there is the manager.
Yeah.
Posey's not leaving. The players aren't leaving. So it's got to be Melvin. And I like Bob Melvin. I wish it would have worked out for him.
Yeah, I like Bob Melvin. He's a good man. I really do. I like him. But I think they just need more, they just need a change. Sometimes it just isn't about, like you said, it's not just, maybe it's not the manager, but just like you can't fire the players, all of them. You can move off of a few, but if they're under long-term contracts, you're probably not going to be able to move off those players, and change needs made. And it just,
but also it's a hitting philosophy. That's a problem too. This team is home run happy. They are swinging for the fence too much, especially in that ballpark. You need to be able to put the ball in play. You need to be able to play fundamental baseball. You need to hit behind the runner. You need to be able to, shorten up with 2 strikes and put the ball in play. You have to have a better approach at the plate, and they don't have that. The strikeouts are too high, and you can tell it's just not emphasized. I think they're in love with the home run, and they live and die by it. And unfortunately, you die by it because this isn't a team that you got guys that hit some home runs, but you don't have, if you're hitting 235, 230.
So the whole team's hitting around, the majority of their players in their lineup are in that 220 to 240 range. I mean, Bailey,
yes.
Adames,
you could hit
Chapman,
230
Schmitt.
if you hit 40 home runs,
Right. You can live with that. You can definitely live with that.
But no one can even hit 30 home runs.
Correct.
There's a chance tomorrow that Adames hits 30 and Devers will hit 30. But you got a lot of 20s.
Does Adames get is he get 180? What's the better odds? 180th strikeout tomorrow or 30th home run? I know.
I don't think he'll get it. It's going to be tough for him to get it. It's hard to go out there and say, I'm going to hit a home run today.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's going to be tough.
That's tough.
And it's going to continue since 2004. Cliff Martinez says, I'd be shocked if Melvin returns. 160 and 162 over 2 years. If this was a rebuild, fine. But back-to-back seasons of heavy spending shouldn't buy Bob Melvin another year. I agree. You
exactly
pretty much,
right, Cliff.
It's a great point, Cliff. You put the nail on the head, man. They spent a ton of money last year, and they were up over the luxury tax at one point last year with all their signings of Soler and a couple of the other guys they brought in, Snell and someone else. There was a third person they brought in last year. Can't remember who it was, but just didn't work out. The team just didn't respond. And George says, Buster, please sign Bo Bichette, trade for Quan, and bat them 1-2, put Ramos in the DH spot. Buster really needs – yeah, that's what they're going to need to do. That would put them – and then add to the pitching, and you got yourself a very good – a much better lineup. Philip says, I don't understand it at all. Why have that philosophy in a ballpark that isn't conducive to home runs. It effing baffles me. Yeah, it is really strange. It really is strange.
It is.
Oh yeah, that was the one they spent on Jordan Hicks too. That was it. And they moved off of Hicks, they moved off of Soler, and they moved off of Snell. I mean, that was all Farhan. Buster's got his work cut out for him. Mark Graves asked the question earlier, and I see if I can find it. He said, Dan, where did it go? Who's the face of the franchise? Where did it go? Hold on, the chat moved here. I'll answer that.
Hopefully,
okay, where did it go?
Hopefully, it's Willie Adames. He has to play well enough.
Who's the face of the franchise?
It's kind of Devers right now.
I think it's Devers in the playing field and in position players, and I think it's Logan Webb on your pitching staff. I think but I don't think Devers wants that to carry that. It's like, hey, I'm the guy, get on my back, follow me. Adames is the more outspoken guy. I look, Willie played very poorly in the first couple of months of the season, but he played a pretty decent shortstop. I didn't see anything at shortstop that said, oh my gosh, get this guy out of this position.
Better than I expected.
Yeah. And as far as him hitting, as you said, you can't live and die by the home run. I didn't see a lot of balls where just rallies where guys would come up and hit back-to-back doubles for a run. You just and that's kind of what you need, a few of those guys in this lineup, because
they should.
The way the lineup
they should try as a team, have the philosophy next year to lead the league in doubles.
Yeah, I mean, this is a park for it. And you know what? Can we get the batting guys that are left-handed to pull the ball down the line so that the right fielder is not playing right center constantly at home? I mean, all is the right fielder is he's giving you like 100 feet of he's way over in right center to guard Triple's alley. Let's get some dead pull hitters in here and some right-handed guys that slap the ball down the right field line into the corner, kind of like the hit Walker gave up in the ninth. Who was that to? Who got the double in the ninth for Colorado today? The ball that just went fair.
I got it here.
I see it happen in all kinds of parks, but not much at Oracle. Can't remember who
Doyle.
it was. Doyle. He's a right-handed hitter. Look, he probably, he probably could have got 3 if he wanted to, but it would have been risky, but it would have been, might have tied the game because he ended up getting stranded at second, or he moved over to third.
He made the third.
Yeah, with an out though. Yeah. So, but can we find some guys that can slap the ball around the field and use the whole field at Oracle? The first couple of years of the ballpark, there was a lot of triples, if you recall. But then what did everybody start doing to counter that? They started, hey, well, if we move our right center fielder over, we can, catch those balls that are going to go in the gap. To hit a triple now in Triple's Alley, you pretty much have to hit a ball like about
off the wall,
or hit a frozen rope that's only about 15 to 20 degrees launch angle. It gets like a missile. If you get it up in the air, anything over 25%, the ball hangs up there long enough for the guy to get to it. Happens every game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see a ball hitting that alley. How many times have you watched the ball come off the bat and go, whoa, and then you go, because in most parks you go, oh, that's a double.
Right.
Automatic.
Yeah, they play it differently there. When the park first opened, they hadn't figured that out yet. And so there was all kinds of triples, but no longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dallas, what's your take for tomorrow? We'll get out of here.
I think, you finish the season on a positive note, knowing that, you've got some potential. It's been a season that was a lot of highs, a lot of lows, up and down season. And, if they had one extra high instead of the low, then they'd be in the playoffs right now. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. So you got to, try and finish on a positive note and go into the off season, and it's going to be an exciting one because there's a lot of moves that Buster's going to have to make to get this team competitive in this division next year. So it's going to be, we can start the hot stove already.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, Mark, all games tomorrow, 12:05, every game in baseball.
Yes. Hold on here. I got to just send a quick text.
So, Logan Webb will I'm sure he'll pitch fine. He'll get through 5, maybe longer if he has a low pitch count. And he'll finish out the season with the most innings pitched and the most strikeouts. And good for him. Pretty good year. I mean, he really had just a couple of clunkers here and there. It was a pretty solid season for Webb.
Absolutely. Hold on here. I want to get to a super chat here. Not a super chat, but let me pull up a couple of chats in here. Robert says, or Mark Graves says, oh, that's not the one. Lee should take part of the spacious ballpark. That wasn't the one I wanted. Where did it go? George says, I wonder if we could trade Ray and Lee for Mets Vientos and their 8th prospect, first base and outfielder Clifford. We save a ton of money. Then trade Vientos to Pitt for pitcher Jaron Jones. Jones is coming off Tommy John. Probably won't be that great next year, but maybe the year after he might. Okay, so there it is. Robert Rothberg, you thought all year they make the playoffs, now making excuses for Melvin. And Robert says, Mark, if Melvin had a healthy and reliable starters and bullpen, we could have won the World Series. I don't think, Robert, with this type of lineup, it's sustainable because now if you had really good starters let's say you had a healthy Blake Snell and a healthy Yamamoto and Webb and Ray.
But even if, let's just say in another world, Roop hadn't gotten hurt and he had continued at his pace. And in that same world, Birdsong hadn't imploded and he had a season that was like the previous season. They still would have run into inning problems at the end of the year. So you're probably not, you're probably still in a kind of a rough shape, but they would have won more games. They would be in a situation right now where maybe it's competitive down to the last day of the season, trying to get into that wild card. So, I mean, if they had a great bullpen and great starters, then any team would have a chance to win the World Series. I mean, how good is it? So Pitching can take you a long way in the playoffs.
Yeah. Cliff says, I hear your Rothberg, and I agreed earlier, but the Giants won 10 of 11 with Webb, Ray, Verlander, Tang, and River Cat call-ups. It's not just about Roop or Birdsong. Excuses only go so far. Yeah, every team had injuries. Let me tell you something, guys, and this is really big and important. The Giants were one of the luckier teams this year when it comes to injuries. They did not have a lot of injuries like most teams did to their starters. This was the year. If you really want to look back at this year, I think the Giants could look back and go, wow, we could have won the division this year if we had enough hitting and our starters had a few more reliable starters in your organization, not guys you signed or anything, but you didn't have the horses within the organization because you were relying on Webb and Ray for the whole first half. And then and Roop pitched well, but we knew Roop was going to run out of gas. I told you on this show before, like a month or two before, I go, Roop and Birdsong are not going to last. So you got to have more in the tank. And then Verlander started picking up, but Ray started to fall off because he's tired. He pitched like 184 innings this year, and he had only pitched combined the previous 2 seasons like 33. So you knew Ray was going to wear out. And I got to thinking about this today, Dallas, when it says, why didn't they trade Ray? Probably the other executives knew what Ray had left in the tank for this year. Because if you're an executive, you should know that, right? You should know this guy has only pitched 33 innings in 2 years. So he's going to wear out.
That are analyzing it,
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's stats to back that up that say guys coming off Tommy John, their first year back, they're going to pitch this many innings. Their second year, they're going to pitch this many innings. And it takes time to ramp back up.
Yeah. So the Giants just don't have the talent. This is my issue with the team, guys. And we'll wrap this up. And I don't want to go on a rant here. I'm just going to talk to you in the terms of just a conversation. I don't think the Giants are going to be a whole lot better next year, bringing back Devers, Lee, Chapman, Ramos, Adamos. Now, you might get some better performances over the course of a year, maybe from Devers, and maybe you get a little better performance out of Adames. I think you're going to see more of the same with Chapman going forward. This is just kind of his career, guys. Now, maybe he gives you a little more production if he plays all 150 plus, if he stays healthier. But with age also comes more injuries. He's going to be 33 next year. We were watching Arenado this past week, and I actually heard, I watch a lot of other stuff too. I was watching Alex Pavlovic along with Cole Kuiper, and they were talking about, Alex was talking about Arenado as his favorite player, one of his favorite non-Giants players, watching him play all these years. And he said it was kind of sad watching him. It looks like he just is done.
On that play where he hit Casey in the back.
Yeah. But he just looked older all of a sudden, right? How old is Nolan Arenado? He's 34, guys. Chapman's going to be 33 next year, and he still has 5 more seasons under contract. And we saw the same thing with Evan Longoria when he was 34. He was done. He was a shell of himself. And so why the Giants gave Chapman a 6-year deal? And I'm telling you, this is why I think the team, if they can't get rid of Chapman, I really think it's going to hold them back because it's a big contract and you're looking at a few other things that you have to look at is that Chapman, Adames, Lee, Devers, those are 4 guys. And then Webb's got his contract. Ray's going to come off the books after next year, but then you're going to start dealing with some other contracts down the road. I think if the way this team gets competitive and changes things around is you got to go find 2 hitters that are contact, not strikeout guys. You're probably keeping Devers, Chapman, Adames, and most likely they keep Ramos, but they could move off of him. What's that?
I think you're right.
Yeah. So you got to find 2 contact hitters. You got one in the lineup in Lee. That's it. That's your only real guy that doesn't just strike out, but he's also kind of weak contact a lot of the times. It's just, he'll get on a little roll, but he's not consistently hitting, 280. He's hitting 350 and then he's hitting 180. He's not the guy that you like to see. Everybody goes into slumps, but his are a little bit more
protracted.
Yeah.
A couple of months.
So I think they got to find a couple of guys that can hit. I like what this is what I was just going to say, is Cliff saying it. You got to get starting pitching depth. And I also think you got to really work. Oh, there he said, rebuild the bullpen. I was going to say, you got to get that bullpen rebuilt. And I'm saying, when I say rebuild the bullpen, I'm talking about 5 new guys, 4 to 5 new guys. And Chandler Simpson, Ernie Clement, Arias. Yeah. All guys that make contact. And you got to find those guys, get the speed, get the athleticism. Otherwise, I'm just telling you, if this team looks the same with one wrinkle, one little difference, like player that might add to the starting lineup, forget it. They're going to be in the same boat. Look at Arizona's speed and athleticism, and look how they were right there all the way till the very end until they, they traded Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor, and they still almost made it. Now they have lost 3 in a row, and the Giants may actually catch them for 3rd place, I think. Let me look. Major League Baseball standings. Here we go. Giants are 80 and 81, and the Diamondbacks are 80 and 81. So Giants actually can get to 3rd place tomorrow and have Arizona with a little bit better draft pick, and then watch Arizona get the guy the Giants want.
Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. 3rd place. Okay, let's just keep Melvin then.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
Yeah. Brendan Donovan possibly available, but will cost. Yeah, Brendan Donovan's a guy that I like. Lefty. No, Robert, he's not going to change. He's 64 years old. He's my age. That's who he is. It's his personality. There's nothing wrong with Melvin's personality. That's who he is. Okay. It's just, what is he going to become, like some yelling, screaming guy in the dugout in the clubhouse? No. Melvin is Melvin. He's been a great manager. He's got a great history. He's got a very good track record, but does that mean you got to go with him indefinitely? I don't know. No, I don't think so. But look, Cody, even your Dynasty show likes Nick Hundley, who was here last night. We got guys in the chat like Senior who likes Skip Schumacher, who used to be the Marlins. He's a fiery type of guy, Skip Schumacher. I like him. I like Mark DeRosa that in sport. I've mentioned him in the past, Insane Sports Takes. I really like Mark DeRosa, but he's probably not the guy because he's managing the World Baseball Classic, America. So he's not going to be able to do both. He'd have to give up the World Baseball Classic if he's going to manage the Giants, I would think.
Yeah, but he could do that. I mean, it's a It's a completely being a major league manager is someone else could do the World Baseball Classic.
Right. Yep. So, final words, Dallas, and we'll get out of here. What's your final take?
Well, I mean, we'll do this plenty to talk about as far as wrapping up the season, but just for finishing out the season, it's good to see. Hopefully, they can have a good game tomorrow, finish on a high note, and I'm the playoffs are going to be great, but I'm always interested to see what the moves are going to be in the off season. So it's going to be an interesting offseason for sure, because there's a lot of holes that need to be filled, particularly on the pitching side. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you, Robert. That makes more sense. I would agree with that. I think Posey will be more vocal as he learns the ins and outs and more ropes. I think I think if Posey can hire his own guy too, I think it makes a lot more sense. And I think that's what the Giants personally should have done in the Farhan, when Farhan was let go, was just clean house.
I hope it's not Mark Hallberg though. I mean,
I don't want to see. I don't want to see that either.
But you want a different voice. You want a guy that has some experience. You want, you want something that's going to bring something to the table and not just be kind of a. Is
Kotze the A's manager now, or he was the A's manager? Who is the A's manager?
Isn't he now the A's manager?
Kotze, I think he is, right? Yeah. See, this is the guy I wanted, Benji Molina. Not Benji, sorry, Yadier Molina, Cardinals. I think he would be fantastic. But it might be awkward, him and Buster. Might be awkward. I don't know. I know they know Benji. Buster took Benji's job, and Benji and Yadier are brothers. I don't know. I like that. But guys, we're going to get out of here. I said it was going to be a shorter one. We actually went a little longer. So let me get the band queued up. I'll be silent for 10 seconds because when I talk over the band, you can't hear me.
That band is so loud.
We actually have it tamed down. I could put it way up, but then you can't hear us. All right, guys, it's been a great night. Chat, very active tonight. Love it. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. It really does help the show. It helps it get pushed out to more people. We'll go into the off season again, and we'll start working on some guests. Guys like maybe Bobby Evans of the Giants and Casey Schmitt, and we'll have more of Barty, and we'll get into the playoffs. We'll probably have Ned Coletti join us some more. So really appreciate you in the chat being out there. Yes, Aaron wants a local manager from Pleasanton just so Luke will go off. Yes. Why do we got to hire local people? Could you imagine Mr. Salty himself as the manager out there? That would be fun.
He'd be vocal.
That would be great. Final hot corner, yes, tomorrow night. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30. I don't know if Glenn will like that. He likes 8 o'clock, but I tell him Sunday Night Football's on, Glenn. It's king. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 or 8:30, depending. You guys have a great night. Take care, everybody.